off in 30 seconds and we're ready to rock and roll. So this is going across to YouTube and let's just check it's on the Facebook profile. So we're good. Yep. So hopefully the guys and girls can also watch this on our profile as well, which is nice. All right, team. We're ready to rock and roll. Guys, you good?
We're good.
You're good? Cool.
Yeah.
That sounds lovely. Hey, Kerry, how are you? Hey, Dino, I hope you're good. And again, guys, sorry, I can't get it into the men's group. It's plain silly buggers with me, and there's not much I can do about it. So we're going to rip into this. And the replay will be available, of course, as always, on the podcast in the next kind of 12 to 24 hours. So let's get into it. You ready, guys? That was you, Jared, Jim. We're good. Let's go. On the count of 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Welcome back to the Better Body Academy podcast. This is the podcast that you come to when you're sick of the dumb diets and unsustainable workout programs. I'm here with my clients, but more importantly, my friends, Kim and Jared Bilby. Good morning, guys. Have you been out and done your steps so far?
Halfway there.
Halfway there.
Good. Dog's been taken out already.
All right. Who wakes who up in the morning?
Do you want to guess?
Be honest.
It's a whole process.
That was always going to be the case.
Our morning routine basically needs to be documented. It's that long just to get me out of the bed.
Really?
Yeah, I'm
like
terrible.
Pushing and prodding, like with after
not that bad, but there has to be hot beverages, and it's a whole thing, and it takes a while. But I get there. I'm getting a little bit better as time's gone on.
I feel like I want to make some like cheeky sexual joke with you two, but probably off topic for now, right? Hey, I think for coming on the podcast and having a bit of a yarn about your story. So let's go from the top for the guys that don't know you, or for the guys that are in each other's groups. Hey, give us a bit of backstory. So, how old are you? Where do you live? Let's start there.
Okay, I'm 35. Jared's will be 40 in July.
Ooh.
I know. We live in Newcastle. We've been here about 2.5 years. We moved up from Western Sydney. Second time round, married. Jared's got 3.
First divorce was horrible. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we tried
again. No, so both divorced, remarried. No kids together, just a dog. Jared's got 3 older kids. Started our own business 3 years ago after being in the corporate banking world for 15 years.
Wow.
And yeah, that's kind of us in a nutshell as at today.
Wow. Corporate banking world.
Summary.
So what does that mean you're actually doing? Like sitting down to like hugely important meetings and talking about lots and lots of money?
Oh, look, they like to think that, but not necessarily. No, it was good. It was just basically we're in a business banking role, had a portfolio of clients, both of us worked our way up internally, got to a pretty good position, had great relationships with our clients. Like that never wavered, had great mentors, had great management. So we had a really good career there, and it just got to the point sort of like everything COVID kind of made everyone stop and rethink their lifestyle, and we just stopped and rethought and spent so much time at home and kind of thought we could be doing things differently, and just make the plunge and did it together, which was crazy at the same time and ultimately scary, which kind of probably almost led us to where we got to 6 months ago. But it was a good decision. We just probably didn't necessarily handle things the best way we could have, but you live and you learn.
So you started your own business in not just mortgage broking, but business
3 years ago, yeah. 3 years ago next month. And not just home loans, but home loans is a part of it, obviously. But yeah, home loans, commercial property, business loans, self-managed super fund loans, current asset finance, construction, bridging, just anything except for credit cards, basically.
Right. So in taking on the stress of a new business, what was the reason you actually started with BBA? Like what happened? Tell me what happened in the transition there. Was it just like post-COVID stacked on a bit of weight, or what was the thing?
It was
we definitely stacked on weight during COVID, probably like some other people, because you weren't allowed out of the house to exercise, go to the gym, do anything.
Yeah, it started with COVID, and then I think the COVID excuse definitely like, you got to the point you're like, wow, that was 5 years ago and I'm still saying it's COVID weight.
Yeah.
So I put on about 20 kilos in COVID and I'm 5 foot nothing. So for me, that was pretty massive. I was somewhere 60 kilos when Jared and I met 7 years ago, 58, 60 kilos, and I was pushing 80. And it was just from sitting at home being really bored, really stressed because of the environment that our clients were going through. We took a lot of that emotion on, which we shouldn't have, but we did. Everyone's businesses were struggling. So it was a lot of late nights, a lot of turning to alcohol, a lot of just eating all the wrong foods, comfort eating, opening the fridge multiple times a day. Just trying to keep everyone in the house happy, the kids happy. So just making whatever, instead of making separate meals, which is what we were doing previously, we were just making whatever we made for them, we ate, and overate to the nth degree. You probably, I don't know, maybe put 10 kilos on, but obviously it looks a bit different on Jared than it does on me. So that kind of spiraled. Then we moved to Newcastle. That's it. We'll get healthier. We kind of back and forth and yo-yo dieted again, and we'll do this, we'll do that. Good for a month, bad for 3. Quit drinking for 3 months, then rewarded ourselves by drinking more than what we normally would, just so to say, oh, how good were we? So we did everything right and wrong all at the same time. And then probably the stress of starting a business with not probably having a lot of, like, didn't have a coach or anything like that. We sort of were self-learning how to handle all of that. And again, probably let stress get in the way of eating again. And then it got us to late last year. And I kind of hit a breaking point. I was definitely at a place where I think the word depression gets thrown around a bit too much. I wouldn't say it was to that degree, but it was definitely borderline to that place. I was very miserable, very unhappy, couldn't get out of bed most days, didn't want to go to the gym. And if I did, from someone who has a bit of gym experience, would just go to the treadmills. I was too scared to touch the weights again. And just in a really dark place, and so tired of looking at myself in the mirror. Really tired of feeling weak and not having any energy, and just kind of got to the point where I was willing to try anything, and I started following Carly, and I didn't realize at the time that there was a program behind it. I thought it was just information. And it was one day I was at the gym on the treadmill listening to both the two of you doing one of your lives, like your bullshit buster type ones. And I started listening to it. And then after a few weeks, I was like, fuck, they're giving away so much free information. This is crazy. What would they give if I was actually paying for this service? So then that's sort of how it all I went down that road. I said to Jared, I'm going to do this thing. Don't laugh at me. I don't know if it's a gimmick. I'm just going to give it a go and we'll see what happens. And then but I said, I just ask you to do the onboarding with me and just watch what I'm going to have to do so you can support me in it. And then that lasted for about 2 days, and he was like, this looks really cool. I want to do it too. And that's sort of how it happened.
Good. Man, I wish you didn't talk so long then, because there were so many points that you raised there that I wanted to hit on. I was just joking. Like, isn't it true, going back to the COVID thing, how many of us got busted up in that situation, and like empathy to ourselves? Like, that was like, remember that period? Wasn't it fucking mental?
I don't like to be honest.
How crazy was it? Like,
from hard,
just the world point of view, but then being people who are dealing with people's finances when businesses are shutting down, like, that is hard. That was really tough stuff. And you guys must have been at the pointy end of the stick.
Yeah, well, and we're obviously counselors, and you had a couple of people on the phone telling you that they wanted to not be around anymore, which is horrible. And you're trying to talk them off a ledge and reassure them that they'll be okay, and the big bag bank's not going to wind them up or anything, and we're there to support them, etc., etc. So yeah, it was tough. And then anyone that had kids, obviously, at that time knows that, well, unless you're a teacher, you're not, we're not educated to be teachers. Doesn't matter how smart you were at university or whatever you do in your life. Like, I'm not a qualified teacher, so you kind of feel helpless trying to help your kids. Our instance was, we had one in year 7 as an example, one in year 9, 1 year 11. And then obviously she went into HSC the following year, like the second year of COVID. So, and then anyone who may have had, young kids, like we had a boss who had young kids, and, so there was challenges for everyone. And then, we don't live in Melbourne, but Melbourne probably copped the brunt of it in Australia. And, you think about people in apartments can't, like, it was just a horrible time for the whole country.
Yeah.
People couldn't go to funerals interstate to visit,
Yeah.
family members who they lost and stuff like that.
And I think a lot of people were still like, still trying to get themselves back into some level of shape 2, 3, 4 years later, right? And so you guys got to the point where you sort of drew a line in the sand, and you said something there, Kim, which was like, I just got to the point where I couldn't look in the mirror anymore. And isn't that true? We reach a point where we only change, the way I put it is, we only change when the pain of staying the same exceeds the pain associated with the changes that you got to make, right? So, for example, you mentioned going to the gym and just getting on the treadmill. You must have got to the point where you're so uncomfortable that you knew that you had to do more than just that.
Yeah. It was doing nothing. And I believed I knew enough about nutrition, and I believed I understood the basics. And that's probably what blew my mind when I came into this, is that I didn't understand. I've done the trainers and I've had some great ones over the years. So the gym side of things has always been okay when I'm in the right mindset.
Yeah.
But the nutrition, I probably knew 30-40% of what I really thought I should know. I didn't understand how to count calories properly. I didn't understand the purpose of protein. I didn't understand why I would eat that over that, and what's fueling my body. I just was all about, I'll eat the lettuce leaves and I'll eat the bit of meat. And I was trying so hard to control, and then I'd blow out because I'd be so hungry, which I know everyone, like so many people have been through the same place, but it was just not understanding it. And that's what I needed to learn. And I'm nowhere near where I want to be, and I've still got so much to go, but it's just my mind's so much more educated now. So even when I do make a mistake, or I do consciously go, I'm just going to do this, I know exactly what I'm doing now. Whereas before I was like, oh, it's not that bad. Oh, that's not that bad. That's okay. Like, that'll be fine. Whereas now I'm like, well, that's a really bad choice, but I'm consciously making a bad choice now, not telling myself it's not that bad.
How important do you think, like, booze was in the whole thing, just not just from a calorie point of view, but also from like a willpower point of view?
It's everything, and it's still something we struggle with. We're not going to sit here and say we don't drink and we don't, we're still very much, unfortunately for us, we love the taste of it together. We love it. We love socializing with it. We like celebrating together when something good's happened. We like to drink when we're stressed. So it's a hard thing for us because we both enjoy a drink. We love the taste of it, probably more than the effect. And then the effect's the bonus.
I wish we didn't like wine.
No, I wish we didn't like wine. That'd be so much easier. But it's definitely a huge impact. And what I did, Jared doesn't even know about this. I did this about a month ago when I was like, all right, I need to really just remind myself why I don't want to drink, especially during the week. I just wrote myself a list in my notes of what it does and why it does it. Whilst it makes me feel good in that couple of hours before bed, I used to think it made me sleep better. It doesn't make me sleep better. It actually makes me wake up worse and forget the headache and feeling maybe hungover if you've gone that far. I feel so demotivated the next day. I don't want to do anything because I'm so angry at myself for going over the day before. The effects on your mind and your body and everything just feels sluggish. You just feel like a piece of shit. And so I've really, I try and turn to that now. So I kind of read it if I'm starting to think, oh, I wouldn't mind a glass of wine. Especially if I know I've got a commitment tomorrow to go to the gym or do something. I just read my little list to remind myself this is why you don't want to do it, because it's not going to make you feel any better. You get 2 hours of happiness for nothing.
That is a fucking great strategy because you can't fix something unless you're aware of its implications on your life, right? And the majority of us, like, we're blind to why these things are important. As an example, we talked yesterday on a coaching call about how important it is to get your self-talk a little bit better. But why would you try to change something if you didn't really know how impactful it is in a negative way? But then when we explained, you become the story that you tell yourself every single day. It's kind of like, well, maybe that's why I'm always such in that victim mindset where I feel like it's my genetics, or I feel like it's my situation, or I can't change. I've learned to be helpless. That's because of the story. So I love that you kind of went, hang on, wait a second, and wrote it all down so that you've got a reference point when you started? Because you're never going to escape that point where you have like moments that like I still want to have moments where I just want to get fucking drunk. It's like, right? Because you want to. What's the feeling you're trying to chase? You're trying to chase like escaping, right? Not thinking about work all the time. The problem is if we associate that trigger with that response, it just gets stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger all the time. You guys, okay, so Kim, more so post-COVID, you didn't have a hell of a lot of weight to lose by the time you started. So what were you really looking to get out of what we were doing?
I definitely went into it was purely weight driven. I was like, I'm going to lose 10 kilos in 6 months. Like, I just need to get it off. I need to get back to kind of where I was at some point when we got married and that sort of thing. I didn't really kind of look past that. I haven't achieved that by any stretch of the imagination, but I've probably lost half, but it's more about, I've just really stopped. Because I've taken on so much more than I expected, my brain kind of went in overload on all this other stuff that I needed to learn. I needed to learn better habits. I needed to learn, don't go to the gym to lose weight. Every time I don't want to go to the gym, I just try and go, you're not going there to lose weight. You're going there to get stronger. You're going there. And one of my biggest fears in life is getting old. I really get scared about it. So I try and go, if you don't go, you're not going to be strong. You're not going to help your bones. You're not going to be a better person when you're 80. Like, it's just, so it's been a very big mindset shift in the last 6 months to why I want to be healthy. It's definitely physical, like that will never go away. We all want to look good, but there's a whole nother part of it that I'm more I understand why I eat protein now. It's not just, oh, just eat protein, it's good for your muscles, it strengthens after a gym session. There's so much more to it now. So that's kind of been my journey, is understanding and learning, so it becomes embedded in my life. So as I have ebbs and flows and things will change, and I might put on a couple, I might lose a couple, even in 10 years time, I've always got the knowledge to go back to go, well, what do I need to do over the next 3 months to get back to where I was if something happened, or I went through a bad stage, or lost a family member. Like, things will happen in my life that I know will make me turn back to the dark place. So I'm just trying really hard to educate myself so that when things happen, I don't get back to where I was and set myself up for a 20-kilo loss again.
It's one of the reasons why I go to the gym, because I know that shit's going to happen. Whether I like it or not, it's going to happen. I don't know about you, Jazz, but particularly the way that you've really got strong over the last sort of 3 to 4 months, particularly, shit's going to happen. COVID is just going to be one of the big bumps in a line of things that are going to happen over the course of our life. If you've done some callousing of your mind and to a second degree your body over the previous 10 years, you're setting yourself up to deal with these things emotionally when they come, because you're so used to doing hard things. Jazz, for you, like, what are the major things that you've kind of got out of it? Because you come in after Kim, like Kim was the one that was the driving at the start, but then you wanted to join. What were you kind of looking for?
Mostly education around nutrition. So I had done like a diet before, where basically it was protein shake in the morning with some oats, then like, you might have a protein bar, you'd have chicken and brown rice at lunch, you'd have chicken and veggies at dinner. Yeah. And like, so I did that for like a year. Those are the same meals every single day. Kids thought I was loopy, thought I was crazy, whatever. And obviously,
and it worked.
Lost weight, it worked, so to speak. But like, when I look back then, and then have a look at understanding nutrition now, like, I reckon I wasn't hitting my protein target back then, even though like I ate 2 lots of chicken each day, but just knowing now the weight of it and stuff, doing it now, I was definitely probably under protein, but then I think I was definitely 100% under everything, to be honest. So, and like I always felt hungry, and so for me, it's like I didn't know as much about food as Kim. Like, I just thought I knew what healthy was. That's meat and vegetables, and and Macca's is bad, right? Like, that's kind of what I suppose you understand as a kid growing up. So you're like, you can only have Macca's sometimes, as an example. But understanding everything now, like, I love salted roasted cashews, and breaks my heart. This course has broken my heart. Like 18 little cashews that'll fit in this tiny little ceramic bowl is like 200 calories. I want to cry. Makes me mad.
And you don't eat 18 cashews in a row. You eat by like 500.
Yeah. Oh man, I'd eat a whole pack. Like no problem. That's scary.
The old cheese platters have gone way out the window.
Oh, we've had one.
Not a proper one.
Not a proper one. We would have one once a week.
Yeah.
You know, it's just crazy. But
I feel
good about it.
Yeah, I was going to say on the flip side of that, interestingly, I can see you're 7 kilos down or something like that, like 10 centimeters off your waist. Like you've got some really good physical changes. And at the same time, both of you have really developed strength. And I think that is the metric that most people should be working on the most. Like if we just changed our entire metric primarily to strength, the inadvertent response, the outcome would be that you'd lose weight. You'd start to feel so much better physically. And just looking at both the retreat and more recently just doing some work with you, Jared, on the way that your technique is just like, you're just really, really coachable and willing to try things. And when you do it, you see these improvements. And now you guys are lifting like solid weight and getting really, really fucking strong. Like that's got to make you confident. It's got to set you up right.
Yeah, it makes me happy. I like the gym because it's like, I don't know how to say this without copying a knife into the neck, but like it's my zen, I suppose. So, you know, I can put my heavy metal music on, I can work out, and I just don't worry about anything. I don't worry about work for the day. I don't worry about missing the kids. Don't worry about the chores that got to happen at home. You know, whatever. So, yeah, I just love it in that, you know, it's just me. It's just, yeah, you're just trying to better yourself. I remember when I first started, Steve from obviously UK said something about you're not there to be better than the man next to you at the gym. You just got to be better than the bloke you were yesterday. So that was a massive one that's always resonated with me. Because we go to a gym here in Newey. Believe it or not, we are the older people that go to that gym. It's an Anytime Fitness. There will be probably 10% older clientele than us, and 90% of people are under the age of, well, I'd definitely say 30, but 25 probably. There's some big units that go to our gym too that like are even bigger than you, and I'm like, Jesus Christ. So when I'm doing bench press and I'm maxing out at 95 and then they come on and they start at 120, I go, don't look at them. You're not trying to beat them. Just keep going.
But that's how it should be, right? Like the struggle that I think a lot of people have is that not just in a gym, but they're just looking at everyone else's results and judging themselves. If they see someone doing really shit in life, they're like, oh, well, that makes me feel good, right? It's a false economy. And then they see someone doing really bad and they're like, oh, I'm shit. Like, and the problem is we're just looking at other people. You just forget to focus on your own journey. And most of the time, you don't know what that person's like. I compare naturally to some coaches, right? And then I find out that, oh, they've been doing online coaching for 15 years or something to that effect, or they were a PT in person for 20 years before that. And I'm like, well, that makes sense, right? It's skin in the game. It's consistency in the game. So I think it's really, really important. Hey, how, what role or what importance has it been for you guys to be doing this together? What would have happened if you weren't doing it together, do you think?
I don't want to say we wouldn't be as successful because you just don't know. You don't know what would have happened. But it's been a huge for me because I'm very Jared's a stronger human than I am just generally. I'm not as strong in some areas. I don't know. I shouldn't say that. Sort of. I am and I am. But when it comes to this sort of stuff, not so much.
She's not strong for herself. Like, and I'm not being mean to Kim. Kim's her worst enemy.
Yeah.
She's the one that, like you always say on your podcast and things like that, you know, she looks at herself in the mirror, hates herself. She'll tell herself she can't do something, and I'll be there saying, yes, you can, doll. Like, you can do it. No, I can't, because she's thinking, because, say, I'm lifting 20 kilos, I can't do it because I should be lifting 60 kilos. And it's not about what you should be lifting. It's about just doing it.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, she's her own worst critic.
We have an expectation that we kind of set for ourselves that's based on what? Like, what are you basing that on, Kim? Right?
I don't know. Just
it just fucking plucked out of nowhere. Like, I should be doing 60 kilos, but I'm only doing 20. I know he's talked on your behalf, but it's kind of like, well, what is that based on?
I don't know. It's stupidity. And I have good days and bad days, but that's exactly why it's better. So if like Jared's in crisis for something, I can swoop in there and not necessarily fix it, but I can put him at ease and
true. 100%.
I can fix everyone else's problems. I just can't fix my own. You know, I can counsel the world, but it's when it comes to me and my own personal stuff, you know, I'm always harder. So it's been really I can't describe how good it's been doing it together. And obviously we are very fortunate that we don't have young ones in the house. We like when people have got toddlers and kids and teenagers, you're making 20 different meals. I do understand it. We've been there. We understand the hardness of it. If we were doing our time again, things would have been differently. There wouldn't be multiple meals. I might slap one side dish that might be something that's more for the kids to eat, but I wouldn't have put myself through what I did last time, because the difference between doing it as a family and doing it on your own is you're educating your whole family on what they should be eating. Not about punishing them, about going, we're not putting the chicken schnitzel in the pot of oil, we're doing it in the air fryer because it's just better and you won't know the difference. So I definitely would have done things differently if I had my time again. So we are fortunate that it is just the two of us most of the time in the house, so we can, but it's just, he just was so good. Like he just was like, right, if we're in, like, what do we got to do? Let's do it. He watched all the videos with me. He made sure, like, we do our grocery shops, not always together, but a lot of the time together. And now Jared's picking up packets and he's reading packets and scanning packets. He's like, oh, what about this? He's coming up with ideas. And that's the stuff that's blown my mind. Because he understands it now. He's like, oh, this is enough protein. If we put this with this, we can eat this for dinner. Like nothing crazy, but just simple stuff that I'm like, oh, I would never have picked those up. I wouldn't have even turned the back over because I just would have assumed it's not that great.
Well, because to guys like me and Jared, this is foreplay.
Yeah.
When we're talking about protein, cottage cheese, and WPI, like, this is foreplay to us, right?
It's so good. So it's been really, really good, and it's been a massive help. And it's just knowing we know it together now. And if one of us falls, the other one picks the other one up, and vice versa. Whereas, because we normally it's not at the same time. One's feeling quite good and strong and having a good week, and the other one's sort of wavering, going, I want to eat the shitty food, or I want to open the drink. And then, so we're being really good to kind of yin and yang, go, no, not tonight. Let's be good. Let's push through to Friday. So that's been a big win. So I would encourage people, even if they don't necessarily join BBA, let your partner in on your journey. Like, just show them the videos, let them understand what you're about to go through, so that they go, oh, okay, I get it. I get why you're doing this now, and get them into the supermarket with you if you can. Like, that I just think it helps.
Yeah, big style. Going forward, and we're going to have a chat about this after this call. What do you want to do? Like, what's the bigger picture, do you think? Have you had to think about that?
Do you want to go first, or you don't know?
For me, it's like just getting stronger. I have no desire to be Arnold Schwarzenegger or Sylvester Stallone or anything like that. But I just like to get to the point where I'm the strongest that I can be. And I like going to the gym. Like I said, it's like a zen place. I always feel better for going to the gym. I don't know, probably the same as how Terry feels after he runs around Australia every morning, as an example. All the cardio crew, they do it because they love it, right? The endorphins are released, they love it, and it sets them up for a great day, right? So, I just, like, I love going. I probably have learned I don't have to go as much as, I once did. 9 years ago, I was going 6 days a week, eating that type of food like I was telling you. And now the maximum I'll go in a 7-day period, 4 days. And sometimes we don't even get 4 days in. We might go 3.
Your results are better than they've ever been. Go figure.
And that's the key. So, because I think we have a more is better idea, and that's a lesson to anyone that listens to this podcast. It's like, you don't. If you're going like 9 days out of 4, right, you're pushing too hard. If you're doing it for, I don't know, like you kind of channeling your David Goggins. Okay, but most people just don't need that. They're not trying to be fitness influencers. They're just trying to have a better life and feel better about themselves. The most recent research shows that one workout every 2 weeks is enough to maintain the muscle mass that you actually have. one workout every 2 weeks, just enough stimulation every 2 weeks. But what a lot of people will do is they say, oh, it's Thursday, I haven't worked out yet. Fuck it, I'll start Monday. It's like, what? Dude, go and do a 20-minute session just once this week.
I think actually another good thing, sorry, I haven't mentioned, is that from you and Troy, obviously doing a lot more of your videos on technique this calendar year. I've really enjoyed watching them, especially because of the concentration on the eccentric, like, which, I kind of could see people at the gym doing a bicep curl and they're like doing this, right? So I know that they're an idiot and that's not the right way to do it. But watching you guys with your videos on basically just taking the movement slower on the way back down, or how it depends what exercise you're doing, but I found that huge. So, I might have been lifting heavier before, but really just kind of you're using a jerking motion, I suppose, a little bit, because you're coming down and going forward really fast. Whereas I knew you like that. But eccentric, I think, has been a massive one for strength, and it might mean you do one less rep or a couple of less reps or 5 kilos less, but I feel better for it. 100%.
So good. What about yourself, Kibbo, to finish us up? Do you kind of have a bit of an idea of where you want to take it?
Yes and no. I think that's why I want to chat with you, just to get a bit more of a focus opposed to just being a bit blasé. But I definitely want to keep, I need to focus on weight loss. I do need to kind of bring that to the forefront, because I've pushed that down because I've been so busy learning all the other stuff and trying to get routines and habits in place. So I feel like that's actually not as important at the moment. I need to learn to do the right thing, and then that will come. So I do need to make that a bit more, be more accountable to that. I would like to learn, or just get better at, not necessarily habits. We're in a great habit and we're in our routine, but the minute our routine gets disrupted, I fall apart, and I can't stand being out of a routine. I hate when I'm not doing my normal thing, or if I'm, we've been traveling for work or bits and pieces, and then the idea of just getting back up and just starting again the next day. Oh no, I'll start maybe not tomorrow, maybe the next after that, because I'm just a bit, I need to get really better at just being stronger at just ripping the Band-Aid off and going like, again, it's that all or nothing. It's just that creeps back in and going, oh, well, I haven't been perfect. Why would I start today? I got back on a Friday. I'll just start on Monday. Opposed to just going, we'll just get up and just do it. So I need to hone in on being a bit more accountable when life gets in the way, and not just thinking it's always going to be perfect, because it's far from it.
And I think you also, and the counterpoint to that is that you're a human, right? And we humans are flawed. Like I drop the ball frequently when things come up. The key for me is not whether you drop the ball or not, it's how quickly you pick it back up again.
Yeah.
Right. It's kind of like, oh fuck, shit. Some people are they've dropped the ball. COVID was fucking 5 years ago, man.
Yeah.
I picked the ball up, right? It's time to do something about it. And so as long as the gap is narrowing a little bit between when you flop and then when you get running again, we're good. We're good. You're not going to do that much damage in 2 or 3 days that it's a problem. Anyway, guys, before we wind this episode up, we're going to have a bit of a chat about your personal journeys after this privately. But I want to thank you guys, because the contribution that you've both made to our academy is fucking awesome, unbelievable. I really feel like with you guys, I've got some really good synergy, because you get what success looks like in a business capacity. And so you're able to apply that somewhat over to your fitness journey. I think there's a lot of parallels between the two. So having the opportunity to coach very intelligent people that are doing well in the world, I think is it's very humbling for me. And I want to thank you for that.
Oh, we're very lucky.
Thanks for having us.
We've had some great support from all the coaches. Going to the retreat was really fun for me, because I got to meet everyone properly in person. Bit starstruck. It was awesome. And I know it sounds like a bit of a, you didn't ask me to say this, but it's the community. It makes such a big difference. We met some really awesome people, both on the guys and the girls side. So that's that again has been a really fun thing for me, because of Jared. I've been able to tap into the guys group and vice versa. So we've made some friends up around here, and we get to do the walks every now and then together, and it's just awesome. Like, just a bunch of blokes plus me going for a wander and chatting. And we literally do 10,000 steps, and we pretty much talk about food 95% of the time. We're just chatting about food and what everyone's cooking and this and that, and it's great. And it's that stuff that's the stuff that you can't get on a piece of paper. If someone goes, oh, here's a meal plan and here's the exercises. So that's what keeps us going, I think, every week is going, oh, there's people out there that we can talk to, whether it's positive or negative. It's really nice. So
it's so good.
We're stoked.
I love hearing, and you guys see it every time you post one, but Maxi with his 1,000-calorie plus meals, I love it.
Oh, the best. The best.
500 grams of chicken protein in there. It's just the best.
So thank you for having us.
Dude,
yes, thank you
my
very much.
pleasure. Guys, we're going to leave it there. This has been the Better Body Academy podcast coming to you on another day. Sorry about the men's group who weren't able to live stream in there, but that's not a problem. I'll share it. This has been another episode. I think we're up to like episode 403 or 404. So if you haven't already gone and listened to the back episodes, they're available on Spotify, Apple, anywhere you can get a podcast, you're good to go. Peace out, team. See you in the next episode.